So if you watched my last video, you would know about the huge financial crisis we're facing right now. And we all know the issues with the stock market right now, but this, in a way, is kind of bigger than that. Our energy industry was on the verge of collapsing. It wasn't until just recently when a massive, historic deal was made with the leaders around the world, which would save us hundreds, if not thousands of bankruptcies in the United States that would have caused hundreds of thousands of people their jobs. Why is this such a big deal? Well, where there's oil production, there are towns and cities that are there solely because of the oil. The oil brings people there for work, and people need to eat, sleep, and live. Restaurants, shopping malls, car dealerships, they're all there for the people who are there for the oil. You take away the oil, then the restaurants, the shopping malls, and the car dealerships, they go with it. The town dies. People lose their jobs, their houses, crime goes up, it's bad. So when we say bankruptcies, it's not just the oil companies, right? It's not just the producers, it's everything that in the town, everything that goes with the town goes bankrupt. Everything just kind of dies and falls apart. By the way, there's about 9,000 independent producers in the United States, so you do the math. I'm Jim Leadis, and on this video, I'm going to go over with you exactly how the oil industry was collapsing and what happened to make it stabilize. If you could do me a solid and hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. So for starters, I'm going to give you guys a quick recap from the last video regarding this topic in case you may have missed it. And then from there, we'll go over what exactly has happened to save the country from thousands of bankruptcies. So at the start of this whole illness thing, we began seeing shutdowns put into play, which are still into play right now. So when you shut down a whole country like that, your transportation gets reduced by like 90%. People aren't allowed to leave, nobody's traveling, therefore nobody's burning fuel and nobody's buying fuel, which means we have a ton of fuel just kind of sitting there. And when you have a surplus, you gotta knock down the prices in order to move the product, supply and demand. So in efforts to not have a massive surplus of oil in the world and to not have to cut down your prices since there's so little demand, oil production leaders throughout the world came together and met and discussed about cutting production. Now, Russia was the only country out of the entire world that had a problem with this because they thought, well, if we pump more oil out, then we can sell it for less money, meaning they could pick up more accounts and attract more buyers. Saudi Arabia, which is the #1 oil producer in the entire world, turns around and says, no, you're not. And Saudi Arabia ended up ramping up their production by 30% overnight to try to undercut Russia. They then went back and forth and had this major price war for weeks, in almost a month, I think. So the whole plan to cut production ended up making them produce more, and that ended up driving oil prices straight to the ground. So cheap oil prices sounds fantastic, right? Because that means low gas prices. I mean, who wouldn't be happy about that? Well, here's the problem. If other countries have lower oil prices than we do, why would anybody buy oil from us, right? They're just going to buy it from other countries. So if the US can't move their product, then those oil production companies, they go under forever. And remember what I said before with the oil towns. If the oil leaves, the town goes with it and it becomes a ghost town. It's like you have one problem, but then it ends up trickling down, affecting more and more people, and it just never ends. Well, as of this past Sunday, the deal that President Trump put into place was officially sealed, saving the US hundreds of thousands of jobs. Here's how it went. 23 countries are committed to reduce oil production by 9.7 million barrels per day collectively. This cuts down about 13% worldwide. So if you combine that with the sanctions in Iran, Venezuela, and outages in Libya, the overall production cut is about 20 million barrels per day. Thankfully, Russian and Saudi Arabian leaders were very cooperative with President Trump as he put this deal into play. As if they were not, Trump would then impose tariffs on any oil imports coming to the United States in order to protect the U.S. energy workers. He was also able to calm the tension between Saudi Arabia and Mexico because Mexico would only cut their production by 100,000, where Saudi Arabia wanted them to cut it by 350,000. Then you have Canada. Canada wasn't asked to cut production. Instead, the decrease in their production comes through market forces. So when the price of oil goes down, they automatically, voluntarily cut production. How nice of Canada. Now, another way to go at this problem is just to fill up our reserves, right? Just hold them on the sidelines. The problem is with that, at the rate we're going, the global industry would be completely full within a few weeks. So it seems that the oil industry is going to start to stabilize here. I mean, now that everybody's on the same page and production cuts are beginning to happen, I think we'll see some really good results in the near future. If you want to know more details about the beef between Saudi Arabia and Russia, you're going to want to check that video out. I'll link it right above here, and I'll also put it in the description below. It's a pretty cool video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This way you can be kept updated with everything that's going on. Also, hit the like button for the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it as it will help my video out tremendously, and I don't make any money doing these. So thanks again. I'll see you in the next one. I'm Jim Leadis.